Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, here it is, another Wednesday, and next week we are preparing for Easter, and Ostara. And that is, the Christians celebrate it as Easter, but we celebrate it as Ostara or Easter. And it falls on Easter Sunday, so that you can figure out it's on the 21st, I believe, April 21st. And so that's coming up. So get ready, get your red and black clothing together, and wear red and black clothing all week if you like, because the colors of Easter are red and black. It's for the menstrual blood that symbolizes a woman's fertility, and I'll talk about that more next week. But for today, we have in our continuing health topics that we are bringing to you, continuing health topics so you can live your best life, is essential fats and where to get them. Okay, essential fatty acids. Now, our bodies can make fat out of carbohydrate and protein, but not very efficiently. And there's two fatty acids that the body can't make that are essential to life. They're used in all sorts of metabolic processes in the body. Can't name them off the top of my head, but lots of metabolic processes. So you have to get these essential fatty acids. And where do you get them and how much? Well, the two essential fatty acids are both polyunsaturated fats. You've all heard of polyunsaturated fats before, and how the omega-6s have been vilified. But the two essential fatty acids are omega-6 and omega-3. Now, ideally, you want a balance of 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 between omega-6 and omega-3, with twice as much omega-6 as omega-3 or less, like 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. And the most you want is 4-to-1. Now, I'll be honest with you, you'd have to eat like 50 cups of spinach to get enough omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids in your diet. So where do we get these omega-6s and omega-3s if we don't get them from fruits and vegetables? We do get some from fruits and vegetables, but not nearly enough. So where do we get them? Well, I have a list here of some sources, and it lists the omega-6 and omega-3 content for each of these foods, and I'm going to read them to you so you can get an idea that a lot of the foods that are rich in fat are in fact rich in omega-6s and not so much the omega-3s. So there's only a few sources you can go to, natural sources for your omega-3s. One is borage oil. One is evening primrose oil. Those are sources of omega-3s, but there's also flaxseed and chia seeds, and also walnuts, so we're getting to that. But here's the omega-6, omega-3 ratio of common nuts and seeds. Sesame seeds, 56.8 to 1. And 56.8 is the omega-6s, and 1 is the omega-3. So you can see that it's biased toward omega-6s, and a lot of them are like this. Sunflower seeds, 311.5 to 1. So sunflower seeds even worse than sesame seeds. Walnuts, 4.2 to 1. So walnuts are favorable because they have less omega-6s and more omega-3s. Sacha inchi seeds, 1.15 to 1. So sacha inchi seeds, very good. Almonds, 2010.8 to 1. So almonds are actually the worst of the nuts and seeds for omega-6s and omega-3s because there's so much omega-6 and so little omega-3 that it's a bad balance, so you don't want almonds. Cashews, 125.5 to 1. Again, not favorable. Chia seeds, 1 to 3. So mostly omega-3s in chia seeds, a little bit of omega-6s, but it's biased toward omega-3s, so chia seeds are a good source of omega-3s. Brazil nuts, high in omega-6. I couldn't find any more information. I just know they're high in omega-6. Coconut, none. So coconuts don't contain any essential polyunsaturated fats at all. They're all saturated fat, which is non-essential and is bad for your health, so you want to avoid coconut and coconut oil. Flax seeds, 1 to 3.9. Again, biased toward omega-3s, but that's good because you want more omega-3 in your diet. Hazelnuts and filberts, 90 to 1. Again, not great. Pecans, 20.9 to 1. A little bit better. Not very great, but a little bit better. Pistachios, 52 to 1. Poppy seeds, 103.6 to 1. And pumpkin seeds, 113.8 to 1. So you can see that in nature, the predominance is toward omega-6s. And the natural sources, the nuts and seeds, their natural sources of omega-6s are not bad. They're just lagging in omega-3s, which you have to make up for somewhere else. And many of these are good sources of vitamin E. The omega-6 rich nuts and seeds are good sources of vitamin E, and you need 22 IUs a day. That's something like 15 milligrams of vitamin E. And the only way you can get that is from peanuts, which are terrible for omega-6, omega-3 ratio. It's biased toward omega-6. Peanuts, filberts, or hazelnuts, almonds, and sunflower seeds. Those are the best natural sources. And sunflower seeds are the very best, and they have an omega-6, omega-3 ratio of 311.5 to 1. So you're not going to get your omega-3s from sunflower seeds, but you will get vitamin E, and you will get omega-6s. So sunflower seeds, essential to any diet. If you can't eat sunflower seeds, eat almonds. If you can't eat almonds or sunflower seeds, take a supplement, because you're not going to get, especially if you're dieting and you're trying to avoid fats, you're not going to get enough vitamin E unless you supplement. And our list continues. Beans and lentils. Many of these beans and lentils have a very positive omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Some not. Okay, soybeans not so much. Peanuts definitely not, but I'm going to read you these. Lima, 2 to 1, omega-6 to omega-3. Cannellini beans, 1.2 to 1. Black-eyed peas, 2 to 1. Black beans, 2 to 1. Baked beans, 5 to 1. Peas, 5 to 1. Fava, 13 to 1. Tamari soy sauce, 8 to 1. Adzuki, 48 to 0. So adzuki's not great. They don't contain any omega-3s at all. Lentils, 3.7 to 1. That's good. Peanuts, 5,320.3 to 1. Peanuts not so hot. Soybeans, 7.5 to 1. Not bad, not great either, but not that bad. You wouldn't want to count on soybeans. Soybean oil is your only source of omega-3s. You would want to count on something rich in omega-3s like flax seeds for your omega-3s. Tofu, 7.5 to 1. Natto, 7.5 to 1. Chickpeas, 25.9 to 1. So chickpeas not so hot. Mung beans, 1 to 14. So mung beans are an especially rich source of omega-3s. Kidney beans, 1 to 2. Kidney beans, another great source of omega-3s. Squashes. Butternut squash, 1 to 1.7. Notice these vegetables are all favorable for omega-3s. Zucchini and summer squash, 1 to 1.7. Acorn squash, 1 to 1.7. Leafy greens. All leafy greens except for chard and beet greens are exceptional sources of omega-3s. So get all your leafy greens in except for chard and beet greens. You might want to avoid Swiss chard or beet greens just for the omega-3 profile. But all leafy greens are good sources of omega-3s. Lettuce, kale, spinach, broccoli. Broccoli rabe is 1 to 7. So it's an exceptionally good source of omega-3s. And so you want to eat stuff like broccoli rabe, kale, lettuce, that sort of thing. Beets, 11 to 1. So not as favorable. Parsley, 14.4 to 1. Turnip, 1 to 3.3. So turnips are a good source of omega-3s. I also have pinto beans, 1 to 2, and navy beans, 1 to 1.5. So pinto beans and navy beans are great. Cranberry beans, 1.2 to 1. Again, good ratio. Okay, tomatoes, 26.7 to 1. So not a great source of omega-3s, but not too bad for a vegetable fruit. Okay, fruits. Pears, 130 to 1. Not a great source of omega-3s. Asian pears, 66 to 1. Same thing about Asian pears. Peaches, 42 to 1. Not a great source. Kiwi fruit, 4.5 to 1. So kiwi fruit would be a good source. Dates, 3 to 1. Apples, 4 to 1. Grapes, 3 to 1. Mangoes, 1 to 3. So mangoes are a good source. Papaya, 1 to 4. Another good source. Melon, 1 to 1. Sour cherries, 1 to 1. Lychees, 1 to 1. Sweet cherries, 1 to 1. Strawberries, 1 to 1. Pineapple, 1 to 1. Currants, 1 to 1. Blueberries, 1 to 1. Cranberries, 1 to 1. Bananas, 1 to 1. Lime juice, 2 to 1. Elderberries, 2 to 1. Boysenberries, 2 to 1. Raspberries, 2 to 1. Blackberries, 2 to 1. Lemons, 2 to 1. Navel oranges, 2.5 to 1. Guavas, 3 to 1. Prunes, 2.5 to 1. So all fruits, with the exceptions of pears and peaches, are good sources of omega-3 fatty acids. And there's fat in everything, so there's fat in all of these foods, believe it or not. You think, well, they're just starches, but they're and sugars, but they're actually good sources of omega-3s. Now, grains do not fare as well. Oatmeal, 21 to 1. That's oatmeal. Whole wheat, 27 to 1. Corn, 46 to 1. So if you're eating a lot of grains, if you have a grain-heavy diet, you're going to have to balance it out with lots of beans and lots of vegetables, leafy green vegetables especially. Not carrots so much. Carrots have 57.5 to 1, but all the beans, and except for peanuts and soybeans, and all of the fruits except for pears and Asian pears and peaches. So lots of fruit, lots of beans, and less grain if you want to keep a favorable ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. And remember, if your omega-6 is low enough, if your omega-6 intake is low enough, your body can produce its own DHA and EPA. I wouldn't depend on it. I wouldn't count on it. I would still take a DHA EPA supplement to be on the safe side. But it will produce DHA and EPA if you eat low enough omega-6s. Okay, oils. Now, I do not recommend the use of oils, but if you do use oils, just know what the ratios are. Avocado, 13.09 to 1. Not bad for an oil, but not great. Butter, 8.7 to 1. I don't recommend butter, but if you use it, 8.7 to 1, not a great ratio. Canola oil, 2 to 1. But there's a problem with canola oil. Canola oil is very highly refined, and a lot of the omega-3 fats have oxidized, and oxidized fats are unusable by the body and become a free radical in the body. So you don't want canola oil unless it's expeller pressed. If it says expeller pressed, it's okay, but there's other problems with canola oil. It's actually poisonous, so I don't recommend canola oil. Coconut, none. Cod liver oil, 1 to 21.1. So cod liver oil is rich in omega-3s, but I don't recommend it because it comes from a fish, and fishes are high in methylmercury and other toxins and pollutants. Corn, 46 to 1, not great. Cottonseed, 257.5 to 1, even worse than corn. Flaxseed oil, 1 to 4.2. So flaxseed oil is a good source of omega-3s, but it's better to get your omega-3s from the actual flax seeds, because oil is just sucked right up into your body and used immediately for energy or stored as fat. So you don't want to eat the oil. You want to eat the natural ground up seeds. Ghee, 1.5 to 1. Grapeseed oil, 696 to 1. Hemp seed oil, 2 to 1 to 3 to 1. Lard, 10.2 to 1. Olive oil, 12.8 to 1. Palm oil, 45.5 to 1. Peanut oil, high in 6s, no omega-3s at all in peanut oil. Soybean oil, 16.2 to 1. Okay, not great. Tallow, 16.3 to 1. Walnut oil, 5.1 to 1. Whole walnuts are better than the walnut oil, but if you're going to use oil, go for walnut oil. And don't cook with it, don't heat it up, because heating it oxidizes the omega-3s. So you want to use walnut oil raw as a flavoring agent, and same way with flaxseed oil, and add it to a finished dish that you don't plan on reheating, because you don't want to heat up the oil at all. So now you know about the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of some common foods. And now let's move on to the percent of fat that you find in foods. Because there is a percentage of fat that you find in foods, and some foods are higher in fat than others. And if you want to follow a low-fat diet to lose weight fast as possible, if you're trying to lose weight like me, then these are foods that I recommend, and foods that I don't recommend. That you'll see that they contain varying amounts of fat. Oats, 20% of calories from fat. Not great, but oats are so healthy, it's okay. But 20% should be your cutoff point. So oats you allow, but nothing above that. Tofu, 45% of calories from fat. Now you think tofu is a great source of protein, and it is, but it's got so much fat in it. Why would you want it? You know, it's better to eat beans than tofu, because tofu contains so much fat. Cornmeal, 4.2% fat. Avocado, 80.8% fat. Now, that's another food you want to avoid, avocado. It's almost pure fat. Walnuts, 89.5% fat. But some walnuts are healthy for the omega-3s and omega-6s, as we mentioned. Flax seeds, 42% fat. Another high-fat food, but you can eat it in moderation. Kidney beans, 2.2% fat, so kidney beans are real good. Quinoa, 14.4% fat, but remember we have a 20% cutoff, so quinoa makes the cut. It is a high-fat grain, though. Whole wheat, 4.6% fat, terrific. Brown rice, 7.5% fat. Lentils, 3.1% fat, great. Pinto beans, even better, 2.1% fat. Black beans, 3.6% fat. Apple, 2.8% fat. You never know that an apple has fat in it, but it does. It has like 1 gram of fat. Banana, 3.4% fat. Orange, 2% fat. Green leaf lettuce, 18% fat. Now, green leaf lettuce is so low in calories in the first place because you're getting mostly fiber that you'd never know it was 18% fat. But 18% of the calories come from the essential oils in the lettuce that comprise just a little bit of oil that's embedded in the leaves, but it's not something that you absorb in a great way. The fat is bound up inside the leaf, so you don't really absorb most of the fat. But it does contain 18% fat. Spinach, 15.7% fat, very low in calories again. Broccoli, 9% fat. Carrots, 5.4% fat. Red bell pepper, 6% fat. Kale, 16.4% fat, but it's so low in calories again that it really doesn't matter. So those are some common foods and the amounts of fat they contain. The leafy greens are especially good sources of omega-3 fatty acids, and they also contain omega-6s, so you won't be lacking in omega-6s either. Now, I have for you a list of foods that are high in vitamin E. Now, the foods that are particularly good sources of vitamin E are also usually high in omega-6s. So if you want to get your vitamin E the natural way, if you insist on getting it the natural way instead of taking a supplement, then this is the way to go by. I'm going to tell you right now, to get your omega-6, omega-3 ratio right, you're going to have to eat like 425 calories worth of nuts and seeds a day just to get your omega-6, omega-3 ratio right and get enough vitamin E. So you can see that it's a little bit unrealistic to get your vitamin E the natural way, that it's makes more sense if you're dieting to take a supplement for your vitamin E. And what I recommend for vitamin E is 400 IUs once a week. So just get yourself a bottle of 400 IU D-alpha tocopherol. D-alpha tocopherol is the natural form of vitamin E. You want to go for the natural form. 400 IUs and take 1 pill a week. That's all you need. Any more than that and you're risking hemorrhagic stroke or something horrible might happen to you if you take too much. Okay, so vitamin E. Vitamin E, RDA for vitamin E is 22 IUs or 14.7 milligrams. Broccoli, 4 spears, 1 milligram. So vitamin E, 1 IU is 0.67 milligrams. You'd have to eat 58.8 broccoli spears to get enough vitamin E. that's a lot of broccoli. So broccoli is not a particularly good source. If you're going to eat it daily, if you're going to eat something daily, broccoli will contribute, but not enough. Spinach cooked, 1 cup, vitamin E, 25%. You'd have to eat 4 cups. Again, spinach can contribute toward your vitamin E, and it's one of the best natural sources of vitamin E, but you're not going to get to 100% vitamin E with spinach unless you eat 4 cups a day, and that's unrealistic for most people. Most people would not, and that's 4 cups of cooked spinach, okay? Cooked spinach, raw spinach is it's 3.3 cups of raw spinach will cook down to 1 cup of cooked spinach. So that's something like 13.2 cups of raw spinach that you have to cook down, and that would be like I don't know, 4 packages of spinach a day per person. It's not realistic to get your vitamin E from spinach. Obviously, eat some because spinach is great, and eat it cooked because that destroys the oxalates that prevent you from absorbing calcium and iron, but it's not enough. So go ahead and have a cup of spinach a day. It'll contribute 25% of your vitamin E. Okay, 1 ounce of sunflower seeds, 66%. So to get 100% of your vitamin E from sunflower seeds, to get 100%, you need to eat 1.5 ounces of sunflower seeds. That's 4.5 tablespoons, which is approximately 160 calories. Actually, it's more than that. It's 160 plus 40, so it's 200 calories worth of sunflower seeds. And then you have to balance that out with flaxseed, an equal amount, which is about 200 calories. So it adds up to about 425 to 450 calories per day, just to get enough vitamin E and omega-3s to balance the omega-6s in your diet. Not very realistic. And not the way you would do it out in nature. In nature, you wouldn't have sunflower seeds available to you all the time, and you wouldn't have flax seeds available all the time. So not very natural either. Actually, I think the RDA for vitamin E is a little bit high, but it does have heart healing benefits if you need heart healing benefits, if you have a proclivity in your family toward heart disease. Obviously, you want more vitamin E, but I recommend supplementing because then you get less fat. Peanuts, 1 ounce, 16% vitamin E. Avocado, 1/2 avocado, 14% of your vitamin E. Red sweet pepper, 1 red sweet pepper, 13% vitamin E. 1/2 a mango, 10%. Turnip greens, raw, 1 cup, 10%. Kiwi fruit, 7%. Mammy sapote, 39% for half a fruit. So if you're living out in the wild and you're a raw foodist and you're crazy, not just kidding. Mammy sapote is a good source of vitamin E. Good luck finding that at your grocery store. Wheat bulgur cooked, 1 cup of cooked bulgur wheat, 0.03 IUs or 0.02 milligrams. So wheat is not a sufficient source of vitamin E. Even wheat germ oil is not a sufficient source of vitamin E. So it's not a good source. You want to get your vitamin E from sunflower seeds or from a supplement. So And you can also get it from almonds. Almonds contain 50%. 1 ounce contains 50% of your RDA for vitamin E. So almonds are another good source. So 1.5 ounces of sunflower seeds is 4.5 tablespoons. Walnuts. Now walnuts contain vitamin E, but it's not the right kind. It's called gamma tocopherol. And gamma tocopherol is a form of vitamin E that is metabolically inactive in the body, but it's also helpful for heart disease. So it's good for heart health. It's heart healthy gamma tocopherol, but for the reactions that take place inside your body, the chemical reactions and the metabolic actions that require vitamin E, D-alpha tocopherol is the only kind that's metabolically active in the body. So you want to get D-alpha tocopherol. And gamma tocopherol is beneficial, but you don't want to rely on it as your one source of vitamin E because it doesn't contain enough of the D-alpha tocopherol. I recommend supplementing with D-alpha tocopherol and then eating the walnuts to get your omega-3s and omega-6s in a good ratio, good balance, because the ratio in walnuts is 4:1, 4 being omega-6 and 1 being omega-3. Now, I know I said you want to get down to 2:1, but if you eat a lot of leafy green vegetables like kale and broccoli, you get much closer. You get much closer to 2:1 if you eat walnuts along with that. So walnuts, pour it on your morning cereal. All you need for a whole day is a 1/4 cup. A 1/4 cup is all you need and supplies all the omega-3 and all the omega-6 you need for an entire day. Plus, get extra omega-3s from green leafy vegetables and you should be fine. And then take a vitamin E supplement. D-alpha tocopherol, not mixed tocopherol, D-alpha tocopherol, because that's the kind that's metabolically active in the body. And another thing, flax seeds, sesame seeds, and chia seeds also contain mostly gamma tocopherol. So you don't want to rely on any of those for your D-alpha tocopherol. Only sesame seeds and almonds and filberts and hazelnuts and peanuts contain the D-alpha tocopherol that your body requires. And to get enough, you need to eat sunflower seeds or almonds. So that's it. That's the fatty acids. Next week is Yoster or Ostara. Get ready, people, because it's coming. I'm Sarah Jane Alpha Wolf signing off. Have a terrific week and don't eat too much fat.